we did have McFarlane not only get shown up. Actually, hold on. I gotta segue myself a little bit better here. Because let's go over to Paternia. Because it was through Paternia and then a little bit here on Reddit via Krauser Rick Instagram posts, in-hand photos of the page punchers for what was, like I said, some entries in that leaked document, including not the Kingdom Come. No, not Kingdom Come, but Alex Ross, Superman, and Batman. Now, admittedly, the Superman looks like a retool of a lot of pieces that I've seen before, and that's not to say that Batman isn't too far off, but there's something kind of novel about the head sculpt on Batman. And then we had some in-hand photos of the 89 comic Tim Burton Batman for both Batman himself and what was in the Elseworld of alternate timelines, what was gonna be the Billy D. Williams Two-Face should there have been a third Batman movie from Tim Burton. And then likewise, Krauserick also had some Instagram photos of other in-hand images of this Beast Boy, complete with pizza, the Gold Label edition, as well as, I guess, a revamped version of the question, because we've gotten the question before. And then we have this wave that I personally, like I mentioned in my community post, don't really have any kind of stake in it, because I see all this and none of it really speaks to me. I think an awful lot of people were in agreement that they don't care for that Brainiac because it looks a little too Super Friends-ish. But likewise, everybody, myself included, said that if there was one figure here that I can maybe see myself picking up in the future, I don't know about it being in the near future. I think it's a bit more on the distant side, but we'll see. Is going to be that Red Platinum Black Mask. And even then, this in-hand photo showed that maybe he could use some extra shading and paint decals on the vest because it looks too plain. Man, with the DC lines coming to an end, the FOMO is hitting hard. Yeah, that's another thing too, is like how many of these entries do you genuinely need versus what is turning into FOMO? And that's one of the things that I had to ask yesterday morning when McFarlane decided to jump ahead of these in-hand photos and just full on not only tease but also unleash the pre-orders for those page punchers. So we got the Alex Ross Superman and Batman, the Keaton 89 from the comic with the purple inside parts of his cape, which I'm telling you guys right now, it effectively is just the Keaton 89 Batman, but from... I could be wrong, but I want to say the head is the Returns, just not as one piece. Does that make sense? Like, it's the Returns head, but instead of it being the head and the neck conjoined, they actually separated the head. And it almost seems like he's got two joints that can do like a lot of this. And then the rest of the body is just 89 Batman again. Same thing with the cape, although the cape looks a little better quality. It doesn't look like just straight up nylon. It looks like it's actually double pleated. It's got a sense of weight to it. It looks like maybe the wire. It looks wired based on this right here. I think they're highlighting a little bit of the wiring. Let's go back to these better photos here. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's wired. And it better. Because, let me see if I could bring up an image here. What happens if I click on this? I'm scared because now they're doing this weird thing with like the links like this. Where's the official McFarlane Toy Store? Okay, perfect. Actually, yeah, this is perfect. The McFarlane Toy Store official page. That cape better be good considering it's all you f***ing get inside the box. $27.99. And little by little, again, this is where things have to get really pick and choosy as far as when is it FOMO and when is it that you generally need a figure in your collection. And I told myself, let me give myself the middle ground here yesterday morning because I'm telling you guys right now, yes, I pre-ordered these. Did I pre-order through sites that immediately charge you? No. Because there's no harm there. At least to me. I pre-ordered, but not through sites that charge you right away. So I definitely didn't pre-order through McFarlane Toys. I didn't pre-order through Walmart, or I think Best Buy has a few of these that are going up. I think the Alex Ross stuff, or some of the gaming stuff. What's another site that charges you right away? And I didn't pre-order through GameStop except for one. um, yeah, so I instantly went to Amazon, obviously, which was a good. Basically, I did Amazon and BBTS, the two that for some weird reason always sell out. I can't tell if it's, design scarcity or scalping or resellers or people that run their own mom and pop shops. And if anything, when people run mom and pop shops, they order the cases over at Entertainment Earth. But that's what I did. I was like, do the sites that don't charge you right away. You can just lock down your pre-order, think about it, and if you change your mind, delete it later, which I've been doing an awful lot this year versus other years. And who knows, this might be one of them because it is just the Keaton Batman, but with the better cape that also has purple on the inside, and you get the cool 89 comic. Do you get anything else? Literally no. There's nothing else. There's no bonus hands. You get the card, the base, and the comic. That's it. And not much can also be said for these others that went live, including the Alex Ross Batman, which let's see if the page works because, yeah, that's the thing. Like now I think I can use this actually. Now the Alex Ross is a little better because you do get the open hands, except if you know anything about these bodies, you know that these are effectively the same hands that the Superman comes from, just painted black to look like they're gloved. And I'll have to wait and see how this figure looks like in hand because some of the images definitely evoke the feeling that it's Alex Ross. Like it's checkboxing like, oh, look, it's got the massive head. It's got the big puffy chest. But then there's other angles where in a neutral position in the bat symbol, as well as the big pouch with the middle buckle there. But then you look at the arms and you're like, the arms should be a little bigger or the torso should be a little bigger. And I can tell that you're just using those other Superman bodies, right? It's the Superman bodies, except let's do Batman now. It worked for the Alex Ross Superman, the Kingdom Come. So let's just utilize that again. And I'm like, okay. So again, that was my compromise. Is that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pre-order, but through the sites that don't charge you. That way you can think about it and go from there. And it was effectively just Amazon and BBTS, and that was it. The only exception was the one that didn't have any other choice except GameStop, which is going to be the Billy D. Williams Two-Face, which I did manage to pre-order. But man, oh man, if I tell you that I was one of the luckiest sons of bitches because I did not, even at 8:57, 8:58 in the morning where I'm half asleep, there was at least enough of a brain cell working for me to be like, don't wait for Paternia or Toy Shiz to put, or In Pursuit of Toys on their socials to post a link. Open up GameStop on your browser, on your phone, and just manually search for it. And sure enough, it was like number 3 down. It said Page Puncher 89 Batman Two-Face, and that was it. And it didn't have this picture. It had one of those stock graphics that say no image could be displayed at this time or something like that. It didn't. It had a generic, placeholder image. It wasn't filled in like GameStop does. And I clicked it. It said pre-order, and I'm like, and it said pre-order available July 24th in about 2 weeks. And I'm like, don't waste any time. Just pre-order this, and then we'll revisit it later. Maybe they'll update the image, but just in case, pre-order. Pre-ordered, went through. Within, I think, a minute of my email coming in from GameStop saying your order's been placed, Paternia and Toy Shiz linked to this Two-Face, and it sent me to the same page. And this time, not available. It was gone. Within like a couple of minutes of me securing my pre-order, it was gone. And I know that some people here in the comment section are pointing out that technically, depending, your mileage may vary, but I think if you go into some physical stores, you can maybe give them the UPC code or whatever it is that they can pull it up on their system, and you can place down a pre-order with a $5 deposit. You can have your workaround that way, but as far as the public website is concerned, it's gone. And I'm like, holy shit. And it kind of makes sense considering the novelty of this being the Billy D. Williams Two-Face. And again, accessory wise, it leaves a lot to be desired, but at least we're not dealing with the most egregious form of a repaint or anything like that. It's, a much fresher figure. There might be some reuse in the body as far as like the suits, because it is a suited character, so why wouldn't you reuse that? Pragmatically it makes sense. But at least you got the pinstripe that's a little bit different. It's mainly black and white, but it's not just straight up black and white. You got the pinstripe on the white part, and then it's that head sculpt where I'm like, yeah, I kind of understand why I sold out, and I do not regret being able to lock down a pre-order myself. But is the body anything new? No. Like I said, this is probably just a few degrees from pretty much just being the Batman Forever body from other Two-Faces. There's a part of me that almost wants to do like a Two-Face-a-thon. And when this figure comes in and I review it real quickly, one brief segment of the video will be me putting it right next to virtually every other Two-Face that I own. The Tommy Lee Jones one, the Silver Age one. I think there's a Phygital one that I have. The Aaron Eckhart Dark Knight one. What's another Two-Face they've done? I think that's about it. I'm actually kind of surprised by the low amount of Two-Faces we generally gotten. But yeah, as the site is showing right now, not available. 300 plus purchased recently. Holy shit. And that was the bulk of the drops this week. But surprisingly, none of those drops had anything involved with the Black Mask wave that has the Sinestro, that has the Green Lantern. I think it had an Alan Scott Green Lantern in there. That had the Super Friends styled Brainiac. No pre-order center around that. Now, granted, Black Mask is meant to be a red platinum, so I don't know if it's going to be available for pre-order at GameStop later down the line, or if you could just, if the Todd father is simply just invoking this whole hunting mentality of, hey, pre-orders will not go live for a while. If you want it, go find it. Which part of me wants to respect that, and then another part of me is like, dude, you know how much gas is right now? Like I said, we had the other stuff like the Question and the Beast Boy that didn't get formally addressed by McFarlane, and neither was anything to do with this Red Hood collector edition that I personally is the most egregious example of what we're dealing with here in 2026. Because Skelly Bones, you were mentioning right there, like, $28, and for what? How about not just $28, but how about a whole ass collector's edition that's likely going to be $35, and effectively we're just taking the existing Red Hood figure that for all intents and purposes should have just been part of the Vault collection, because a lot of people really want a Red Hood again, and you pack them in with the guns. So you finally get the ability to, by the way, I don't know how you managed to get the guns in there and still get a 12 plus rating. That should have been 17. That's curious. I don't know if this is even going to be final. But you do get the guns, and they also toss for good measure, toss in the existing crowbar from before. I wish that the crowbar and the gun, but I think the way to kind of skirt things around that 12 plus rating is the fact that it's all bedazzled in chrome. Why couldn't we have the guns and the crowbar have like the nice little airbrushing that we've seen McFarlane be able to do on these accessories before? I would imagine that that's probably one of the things that they had to do to get the 12 rating. Otherwise, it would have been 17, because then it'll look a little too realistic. But then a lot of people in the comments, I don't know about this post, but I think it was either on Reddit or even on Facebook, of people really excited for this because of the Jason Todd head sculpt tossed in there. And unfortunately, I really wish that I can rework my brain in a way to be able to be excited over the prospect of them finally tossing that in, because instead my brain goes to, okay, I already have this figure. I think I have it twice, the original and the black and white GameStop exclusive that they did a little while back. This is effectively that figure, only this time it's being sold as a collector edition, which means it's going to be $35. I already have a munitions pack. The original version that I had already has the crowbar. I would effectively be buying it for a Jason Todd head, so the Jason Todd head is costing me $35. I personally feel like there should be 1 or 2 more accessories tossed in here for a collector's edition. Because I'm looking at this box, I'm seeing just so much empty negative space, and I don't think that just one Jason Todd head is enough, honestly. If anything, the direction I think they should have, gone in with this shouldn't been putting more in the box, but rather take away the crowbar and the Jason Todd head and sell it as a vault release at just 25 flat. Make it cheaper and more accessible as a vault release, because this is a figure that's been, tucked away for a while. Why is this not a vault release instead of a gold label collector edition? I'm sorry, but why is it? Again, it's just becoming, like I said, a broken record at this point. It's just nothing but air saying, why are we paying more for less? It's the whole McDonald's example with the Big Mac. Big Mac getting smaller and shittier, and yet it's costing what? People are saying now it's like $15, $16 for a McDonald's meal. Like, we're just regurgitating the same thing over and over. No pun intended there regarding the McDonald's analogy.